Hi there, welcome to the New York State Museum. My name is Anna Doran and I'm an educator here at the museum. Thank you for tuning in for another video, and we're going to learn how to do a craft to help feed birds this winter. We're going to make our own bird feeders. Now, during the winter, birds will do a lot of different things to adapt to the cold temperatures. In New York, we have a climate that gives us 4 distinct seasons. So the things they eat and the things that birds do will have to change quite drastically from summer to winter to help them survive. Now, some birds, like the black-polled warbler you see right here, will migrate during the winter time. They will fly all the way down south to South America, to where the weather is warmer during the winter. And this makes it possible for them to continue eating the seeds that they like to eat. And they will be able to find their way because they have an internal compass. They can sense north from south and even use the sun and stars to guide their way all the way to South America. And then we'll come right back to New York come springtime. Other birds, like the boreal chickadee you see right here, will hoard their food before winter. Now, boreal chickadees and also Canada jays will start collecting seeds and nuts in the summer and fall and hide them in tree bark and different locations in their habitats. And they have really good memories. So when winter comes, they will remember hundreds of places where they've hidden little bits of food, and they'll return to them to get a snack when they need it. Okay, so the spruce grouse here is a vegetarian. It eats mainly spruce needles, hence its name. And during the winter, to stay warm and keep up its body fats, it will need to eat more spruce needles than it would any other time of the year. This could be hard for their stomach to digest, though. So during the winter, their stomach and their digestive tract will actually get larger so that they can process more of this food and keep them healthy and strong all winter long. Now you can see it can be a little difficult for birds to survive the winter. So making a bird feeder is a nice way to help them and help the little birds that might stop by your house this winter. All right, so there are a variety of different birds that you can expect to see stopping by your bird feeder this winter. Now, one really noticeable one in New York is the cardinal. Now, cardinals are famous for their bright red feathers, like this guy you see on the branch right there. But the bright white red cardinals you see are actually only the male cardinals. Female cardinals, what you can see to the right over here on the branch, have some red, but they're a little more subdued in color. They're kind of more of a browny gray color. So you can expect to see both of them stopping by to get some seeds. Other birds you might see include the black-capped chickadee. Of course, he's got a nice black cap on his head. And black-capped chickadees, this little stuffed guy right here, much like the boreal chickadees we saw earlier, are hoarders, so they will start to store their food and hide it to eat during the winter. You might also see a tufted titmouse. Now they're very small and have a little tufted head right there. They're known for taking their seeds from bird feeders, and they won't eat them right there, but they'll store them nearby. They'll typically store their seeds within 130 feet of whatever bird feeder they're visiting. And finally, you might also see an American sparrow, this bird right here. Now, to keep themselves healthy during the winter, they will need to eat 30% of their body weight in food every single day. So putting a bird feeder out is a nice way to give them a little extra boost of nutrition when they stop by. So for our craft today, we're going to make a bird feeder. And this is pretty easy to do, and you can do it with different materials that you probably have around your house already. Now here's one that I've got started. You can make kind of a nice mobile and hang it up on a tree branch. I'm going to walk you through the steps of making one. And again, these are materials that you probably have around your house already. So we're going to have some scissors, a hole punch, some empty toilet paper or paper towel tubes. You'll also want a knife or a popsicle stick. And we're going to use these to spread either vegetable shortening or peanut butter. You'll also need some bird seed, plain Cheerios, and string to hang it all together. Now the first step, you're going to take your toilet paper tube And very carefully, this can be a little difficult because they're a little tough, so you might want to ask an adult to help you. We can cut these into 3 segments. So you got your 3 bits of tube right there. And then we'll take a hole punch, and we're going to hole punch through each one of them. And this will make it possible to hang them on a string. So take that right out. And again, this does take a little bit of force because they're made of some tougher paper. All right, so once you have the holes punched, you can take your vegetable shortening or your peanut butter, and using your knife, or I'm going to use a little popsicle stick here, you can start to spread it all over the toilet paper roll. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to help the bird seed stick to the toilet paper roll. So it helps if it's fairly thick on there. Just kind of gob it on a bit. And this can get a little messy, so I've put down some wax paper to protect my table. You want to be careful not to cover the holes that he punched into the tube either. You spread it on like you're decorating a cake. Okay. So once that's covered in enough of your shortening or peanut butter, you can take it and you can press it into the bird seed. This is a nice sunflower bird seed. And they might fall off a little bit, so again, make sure you're keeping it over the table so you don't make too much of a mess. There you go. Now for our next step, we're going to thread it, and we're going to use the Cheerios to hang them up. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of the string here. And to help this tube stay in place, we're going to take 1 Cheerio to start and tie a knot with it. So that'll make the knot thick enough that the tube doesn't fall off on you. Give it a little double knot there. Okay, and then I like to thread a few Cheerios on, adding a little extra snack. Okay, then we're going to carefully put this right through. There you go. And I'm going to top it off with a few more Cheerios. And there you go. Now you can get really creative with this. You can do longer rolls, different patterns, whatever you feel like doing. I'm just going to do one right here to finish off my mobile. And we'll tie it nice and careful. And this is just a stick I found on the ground outside. If you're going to use a stick, make sure you're not pulling any off of a tree. Should be pretty easy to find one laying right on the ground for you. And give that a double knot too and trim the string a little bit. A lot of sticks. So there is your bird feeder mobile. And you can hang that up on a tree or a porch. It's best to make sure it's up off the ground so birds can stop at it without being at risk of predators. And if you put it by a tree, that'll also help attract birds because it offers them a little bit of shelter. Now you can do this, again, a lot of different ways. So if maybe you want to do it a little quickly, or you have younger kids and you don't want to mess with the scissors so much, you can make a really simple one just with 1 tube, same process, and then just put a little thread of the Cheerios through. Now make sure you put these out somewhere you can see them and check on them, but very carefully and keeping your distance from the birds, and see what visitors you might have to your backyard this winter. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day.